Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Devin, and today I'm going to tell a story that I've never really shared publicly before. This was one of the most defining moments of my entire flying career. I have passed many check rides, I struggled in flight school, I currently fly for a living, I've had multiple different jobs, but this week of flying that I'm going to tell in this story truly felt like I achieved the final level. Not actually how to just operate a helicopter, but how to actually fly a helicopter well. And it all happened in a helicopter you might not expect. It was not a big turbine helicopter at a big operation. It was in the Cabri G2, so let's get into it. Now, let me give you a little context of when this story took place. At the time, I had my commercial license. I was a CFI, I was a CFII. I had probably about 1,000 hours at the time. I had about 800 hours of flight instructing time, so I was pretty good. I had logged a fair amount of time. A lot of it was in the R22, some in the R44, and quite a bit in the Cabri. I had done lots of autos, simulated engine failures, all of the maneuvers. But there was one part that was missing, and that was full down auto rotations. Up to that point, I had maybe done 10 full down auto rotations in my life, hundreds, maybe even 1,000 power recovery auto rotations, but almost no full downs. In flight school, I think maybe I did like 3 to 5, and then I did one on my CFI check ride, and then maybe a couple after that. But I could probably count on two hands the number of full downs I had done up till that point. Essentially, I had come to the conclusion that if I have an engine failure, my thought process was I will glide the helicopter down. I felt very good with the glide, and then I will get to the ground, and whatever happens, happens. I'm sure I could probably do it, and I understood the fundamentals of glide, flare, level, settle, pull, but I just was not super competent. Now that all changed during the instructor training course that I took in the Cabri G2. The course was held at Precision Helicopters in McMinnville, Oregon. This was taught by Cabri factory instructor pilots, and I got the opportunity to do this through the company I was working for at the time called Beta Technologies. They are building an eVTOL. I was not directly involved with that. I was a flight instructor, and they had Cabri helicopters, so I was teaching people how to fly the Cabri, and they sent me out to McMinnville, Oregon to the training course. I will say this, I had also been to the Robinson helicopter safety course out in Torrance, California, and I definitely learned a lot from that. But the Gimbal course was a different animal. The way I'd kind of explain it is like the Robinson helicopter safety course in California is great, but that is more about general helicopter safety and how to not die in a helicopter. And I think everyone should go to it, let me be clear. But the Gimbal instructor training course from Cabri, that was actively teaching flight instructors how to fly the helicopter well, how to fly it safely, how to teach people how to fly it safely. We started in the classroom, and they gave the full background on the helicopter, how it was developed, the design philosophy behind it, and that was really beneficial. Then we dove into the specifics of every single part of the helicopter, how it works and why it works in the way that it does. Every aspect from the rotor system, the flight controls, the fenestron, the engine, transmission, all the way down to the skids and avionics. How everything works and why it works and what are the parameters around it. Just an extremely in-depth breakdown of the helicopter. We asked all sorts of questions and we learned a lot, and that was really beneficial. And just quickly, I want to talk about the Cabri. If you've never flown this or you're not familiar with this helicopter, it is a 2-seat training helicopter. It is a 3-bladed, fully articulated rotor system with a very high inertia rotor head. It flies like a dream. It is incredibly stable and in auto rotation. It has great controls. It is a beautiful helicopter. It's very simple and clean design, but it is nearly perfect for flight training. I do have one critique of this helicopter, is that with that third blade and the added drag that comes from it, is it's just really slow. Like you cruise from like anywhere from 60 to 80 knots, and it's great, but if you're trying to go anywhere far, this is probably not the helicopter to do it. It's just not that fast. But as a training helicopter, this is the best training helicopter I've ever flown. Way better than the 22 and the 44 at teaching people how to fly safely. So after the classroom section, we got to do multiple days of flying. Now, up to this point, I was already very comfortable in the Cabri. I had been instructing in it. I had done many auto rotations in it, but I don't think I had ever done a full down in that helicopter, and I was just not good at full downs like I explained. They definitely scared me because once you have a commitment point, as you're coming down, at some point you have to commit to keeping the engine off, and you're committed to getting that helicopter on the ground however you end up doing it. That reality really made me nervous. Now, I have come to believe in my time that this is the way that auto rotations should be taught. You should do full down auto rotations. That's just how you should do them. But I understand why you can't. That's a conversation for a different time. Now, when it comes to full downs, something that I was taught very early on, and it's absolutely true, and this is how you do auto rotations, is that to do a full down, you need 3 solid parameters, and these are your commitment parameters. If these are good, you're going to commit to the full down. Every helicopter is a little bit differently, but essentially those 3 parameters are airspeed has to be with it, like plus or minus a set target. So let's say your airspeed needs to be 60. It can be 65 or 55, but plus or minus 5 from your target. RPMs plus or minus some margin, and you need to be in a stable configuration. If those 3 parameters are set at about 200 feet, you commit, you are not bringing the engine back, you are going to do this full down. So me and my factory instructor, we went up and he demonstrated one. He talked through it, demonstrated one, and it was perfect. Then we did one together. Like I mentioned, I was pretty nervous, but at 200 feet, we had our commitment criteria met. Everything looked good, and we committed. We glided at the apex of the flare when the helicopter was... So we glided, flare, 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 flare. When we no longer have airspeed, level the helicopter, allowed to settle and pull. And we did one together, and it was great. Like I said, I had already done some, but I just wasn't super comfortable. And then he let me go do one by myself. So same thing, we glided at the apex of the flare. I leveled, let it settle, raise, and then pull. And I remember sitting there, and it was like, I hadn't done one in a while, and I was like, man, that really felt good. And it's not rocket science to do a full down. It just... this was the first time when I started to do them at that training course where I really felt like I knew what I was doing. So we did a bunch. We did 180s, 360s, all sorts of auto rotations, you name it. We didn't focus on the glide because I was already very comfortable with that, but we focused on the touchdown with no engine. And I finally got the chance to practice it over and over and over. I probably did 10 to 15 full downs, and then at the end of that first flight, I was like, wow, I really understand this. I was very comfortable with every other maneuver in the helicopter, but once I did like multiple full downs all by myself, just like, I just was like, oh, this is great, because like if something happens, like I know exactly what I'm looking for. I know exactly how to feel this out. It's tough to describe. It's not like bravado. It's not ego. It's just a confidence, like a deep confidence that like, okay, I got this. Like my brain understanding of how this works in my hands, like I just felt really, really good. It was hugely impactful. And then it didn't stop there. We did all sorts of like very advanced autos, all sorts of advanced hover autos, full downs from a takeoff, full downs while you are on approach. The most critical phases to have like a full down, like if you, or the most critical phases to have an engine failure, if you're on your takeoff roll and your engine quits, practiced it. If you're on approach, engine quits, practiced it. If you're just all sorts of hover autos. And man, that really just pushed my skills to a different level. It pushed my confidence and my piloting abilities to a different level. To know and to feel confident and to be proficient at engine failures to a full down in every configuration that you could be in. At the end of the week, I felt like a different pilot. Not just better at the controls, but better mentally. And I owe it all to that instructor training course. I had never gotten the experience up until that point, which is crazy to me because I had 1,000 hours, like I was a competent pilot. But that specific flight regime, full downs in every configuration, I just was not competent at. And then I got that experience, and I was, and it was profound. We talk a lot about the aircraft that shape us, the helicopters that we fly the most, the ones that we love, the ones that we get our jobs in. But sometimes the aircraft that challenges you the most and the one you learn the most in is the one that sticks with you forever. And for me, that's the Cabri G2. I love that helicopter. So that's the story. That is the week that I think I became the best version of my piloting skills. That was the final key that unlocked my pilot capabilities. It just gave me a lot of trust in myself, and that's really beneficial for me and my passengers because I know that I can handle that specific situation in that configuration. So there you go. Thank you for sticking with me on this one. If you have ever flown a Cabri, let me know down in the comments below. What do you think about that helicopter? Have you ever had like a profound experience in your aviation career where you were like, I'm different now and I'm better now? I want to hear about it. Let me know down in the comments below, and I will see you on the next one. Take care.